Spy is not the worst class in Team Fortress 2. Okay, before you get your pitchforks and torches, allow me to explain myself. I recently watched a video from a very small TF2er. I don't know how many of you have heard of him. His name is John2L2, and in that video he said this.
The power trip of getting good at the weakest class in the game can be immense.
And well, here I am, arguing about that class. Before we begin, I'd like to clarify, I'm not trying to argue with John2 or anything, I'm just giving my 2 cents about Spy. I highly recommend watching John2L's video. I think he did a great job, and that's not exclusive to just this video in particular. All his spy psychology videos are really well made as well. Back to today's topic. Let's do this debate style. I'll pick a common sentiment/issue players have with Spy and debate that point. Spy dies often. I think that the people who say this don't entirely get Spy's job in the team. He infiltrates the enemy team and surrounds himself with 9 people ready to kill him at a moment's notice. Spy's job is not hitting trick stabs for his frag compilation. Spy has 2 things he needs to do to be effective. Sap engineer buildings and backstab high-value targets, like the medic for example. Here, take a look at this clip.
Spy did his job.
And even if your sapping doesn't end up destroying the Engie's buildings, they still do a very powerful thing. They disable them, so the rest of your team can shoot them without them shooting back. So yes, Spy does die often, but it isn't because he's weak. It's because no one can fight a whole 12-player team. To give another point about this, imagine if Soldier players did the same thing and then complained Soldier was weak. Yeah, I rocket jumped into half their team and died. Like, Soldier sucks, dude. In short, when you backstab that heavy, he screams, and his team will take notice. Spy is hard countered by Pyro's spy checking. Yeah, classes have counters, but you know, Pyro doesn't fully counter Spy. Because
the 9th class has a primary firearm.
I get it can be annoying at times when there are Pyros with an itchy trigger finger, but it's perfectly okay to have a class that counters you a bit. You just have to deal with having that counter and play around it. He's just so hard to learn and be effective as. What do you mean? All you have to do is learn how to backstab? If that sounded stupid to you, that's because it's supposed to. I'd say most classes are hard to master. You can't just say, learn to aim better for demo players, because they need to learn how to sticky jump and tramp and predict where the enemy is going in order to hit them with a pill and all these other things. All classes have a learning curve and skill ceiling. You don't need to be able to hit the 360 no-scope Matador adjacent Starstruck stab in order to be a good spy. So all this may have you wondering, if Spy isn't the worst class, who is? Heavy. No, I'm being serious. I really do believe Heavy needs work. What's wrong with Heavy? Well, to start, let's talk about Heavy's job. Heavy is the frontline class. More often than not, you will find him at the forefront of the battle. This makes his job very dangerous, as most enemies will be shooting at him. But he has the most health, isn't that enough? Yes, Heavy has the most health in the game, but he's also the biggest and slowest target in the game. If he doesn't have a medic healing him, it's very likely he'll end up dying. Which relies on his teammates actually choosing to play medic. I mean, let's be honest, how often are you picking the 7th class? How often are you pocketing the Heavy rather than a demo or soldier? What about his lunchbox items? If a Heavy doesn't have a medic, he relies heavily on his lunchboxes, such as the sandwich. The problem with that is that it takes a decent chunk of time to use. I mean, in order to eat a sandwich, he has to In order to eat a sandwich, he has to remove himself from the fight and enter the animation to eat it. And with him being the slowest class in the game, it takes a bit to leave and come back. He can't just rocket jump away like a soldier can. And if he doesn't put his back against a wall, he leaves himself open to a backstab. Not to mention, after he uses a sandwich, it goes on cooldown for 30 seconds. But what about counters? Heavy is countered by quite a few of the classes in the game. Actually, pretty much all of them, except Medic and Pyro. Scout can hit meat shots on a revved Heavy easier, Soldier can shoot direct hit rockets easier, Demo can hit pills much easier, Engineer's Sentry has knockback, further reducing the Heavy's damage output. Sniper is Sniper, and Spy can backstab him very easily. Heavy counters Pyro because Pyro has to be very close to burn him, and Heavy does more damage with his minigun at close range. But Heavy can deal so much damage with his minigun. Kid named Eski. But seriously, he has to be close to his target to get that effective damage. And again, he's the slowest class, and even slower when revved up. While a good Heavy can certainly clean up, he can't really give chase when someone backs away. I truly do believe Heavy is the weakest class in Team Fortress 2, and that Spy sits at the 8th spot. But hey, that's just a theory. A TF2 theory. And having all that in mind, what do you think? Do you agree with my points, or do you think I belong in Arkham Asylum? Do let me know in the comments below. I recently watched a video from a very, very small TF2ber. I don't know how many of you have heard of him. His name is John Tohill 2. John Tohill 2. I don't know why this is such a hard name to pronounce for me. John Tohill. Jontohil 2. And in that video, he said this. Back to today. Why did I write this like this? 3 T words right next to each other, TO words. And even if your sapping doesn't destroy the NG's buildings, and even if your sapping doesn't destroy this, imagine if Soldier players did the same thing, and then complained Soldier was weak. I get it can be annoying when they're at times when... I get it can be annoying at times when there are pyros with an itchy trigger. I cannot speak. Engineer's Sentry has knockback.
It doesn't taste that good.